So do you think that Irish is endangered then?
It is.
Despite all the efforts mentioned to make it, nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are certain projects and different schemes at the moment to encourage the use of Irish. Like in Dublin City, for example, you might see signs saying, "Speak Irish, order your coffee in Irish and you get 10% off."
Good.
Or "We're an Irish-speaking company," etc. But it is listed as definitely endangered. And like I said, with those statistics recently collected in the census, it doesn't look promising. But then there's a movement towards, saving it, preserving it and protecting it. There is more funding by the EU. There's more translators. There's a lot of legislation. Also, even with immigrants coming to Ireland, people are fascinated by this language and they're kind of renewing that interest in Irish people. So people might be growing up in Ireland and then they have a Brazilian boyfriend and they're like, "Oh yeah, I should teach him a couple of words." And maybe it just goes to show that when you're so used to something, you don't really see the beauty and the magic in it. Uh-huh. And it takes fresh eyes to help you explore that and go, "Come on, this is amazing. You have this language with all these super intricate features, things that don't exist in other languages." I was just reading this morning, we have broad vowels and slender vowels, mm-hmm. and every word is slotted together by both broad or both slender. And I've been teaching this for years, but I was like, I wonder, is there any other language on earth like that? And it said, no, it's distinct and unique to Celtic languages, but particularly Irish, that the spelling system is kind of like a rubric, it just slots together. Mm-hmm. And it's really helpful when you're thinking, how do I spell that word? Well, it has to be, if it's A, O, or U on this side, it has to be A, O, or U on this side. If it's I or E on this side of the syllables, it has to be I or E on this side. And I thought, that's mad. There's so many cool things like that about Irish.
Yeah. You said that the future doesn't look promising, but do you think that the language will die eventually?
I mean, I have hope that it will thrive and flourish. I'm really thrilled to see so many people joining my courses, joining my Instagram, realizing, wow, let's not lose this phenomenal language. And I think people are waking up to a sense of urgency that the language could be lost. And what can we gain by, refamiliarizing ourselves with the sounds and the beauty of the language? So I don't think it will die. I think there are some amazing people working on preserving words. Like we have a writer and broadcaster called Mancon McGann, and he goes around Ireland to like fishing villages and asks fishermen, like, what's the word for this? And they'll tell him words that only exist in that part of Ireland. And he writes some fascinating books, like 32 Words for Field is one of his books. Wow. And other young broadcasters, and podcasters and influencers who are emerging and kind of making it more accessible, mm-hmm. making it more alive.
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool. Well, yeah. Everything that helps languages to live sounds cool for me. It's great. Because languages is not only sounds, it's history, mm-hmm. well, it's culture, mm-hmm. it's traditions, and it's, a lot of stories behind, every person who speaks the language. So yeah, we should preserve them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to make this world a little brighter. The flame